everyone, it's Nicola here, and today I'm going to share how to create these pretty rosettes using graphic 45 papers. The first step is to score your paper. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can accordion fold your paper, but having a scoreboard really sort of keeps things nice and neat and even. If you do a lot of paper crafting, consider getting a scoreboard. They're not too expensive and they're really handy to have around. When I create my rosettes, I'm using an entire sheet of paper. This is so that I can create 5 or 6 at a time and I don't have to worry about going back and scoring more paper. I'm just going to score a whole sheet. And what I do is I just lay my sheet down and then I'm going to score at every ½ inch mark. And I'm going to score all the way down at ½ inch, 1 inch, 1½ inches, 2 inches, all the way across my page. Once I have scored, I trim my paper into strips. So I need 2 strips for 1 rosette, and I want my score lines to go vertical and I want my strip horizontal. I'm going to just start folding these back and forth right along those score lines. And you see, if you have a scoreboard, how much easier this is. Everything's already measured out for you. And you just go right along there. And give it a bit of a squeeze, and there we go. For my next strip, I'm just going to consider that these are going to be glued together. So I want to fold this part in. If you mess up on that, no big deal, you can just trim it up. It just makes it a little bit easier to glue things together if I keep in mind how they are going to fit together. So there's that piece. Now I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together. And I'm just going to use some white glue here. It'll set fairly quickly, I hope. And again, I'm doing a nice thin layer. And I'm keeping in mind how these are fitting together. If I put this way, the writing's upside down there and right side up there. So let's just make sure that they're all going in the same direction. My pattern is in the same direction. You will want to consider the pattern that's on your paper. If you have something that's has a lot of directional stuff going on, it just may look a little bit funky when you turn this into a rosette. And I'm going to glue this other end as well. And I'm attaching this end to this end. Again, I'm going to make this nice and thin so that it dries quickly. And I'm going to put that together. While my accordion piece is drying, I have cut out some pieces using my embossing and die machine. I've cut out some pieces using Spellbinders Nestabilities. This is Royal Circle. And I've cut out 1 of each shape, and that's sort of going to hold all my bits and pieces together. I've also collected this chipboard piece, and this is from Time to Flourish. I just think it matches the other papers nicely, but you can do these rosettes in whatever color scheme, whatever theme you want to. This is just showing you how to do it. Then you should run off and create it in whatever style you like. I cut these pieces from Birds of a Feather, which is from Botanical Tea as well. I've also fussy cut some butterflies, which is from Sweet Chamomile, and I have some ribbons. These are crocheted trims and some burlap sort of lengths, and these are going to be the tails of my of my rosette. So now after all that gabbing, this should be ready to go. What I'm going to do is sort of squish the ends together and push it down. And this creates my rosette shape. This part can be pretty fiddly and sometimes it drives me a little bit nuts. My son was making fun of me yesterday when I was making this because every time I would try to glue it, it just popped right back up. So what I'm going to suggest is that we're going to flip this over. So there's the back side, which is very pretty too. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to use just a canning lid to hold this in place while I'm going to apply just a little bit of pressure, and it's going to keep that in place and still give me access to the inside there. I'm going to place some hot glue, oops, right along there. And then I'm going to use this cutout shape from my nestabilities that I've cut, and I'm going to just press that right into place. And this is going to hold my piece in place while I add the embellishments. And you can see if I use this ring, it really does hold everything in place. I can make sure that it's nice and evenly spaced and circled. It does take a moment for this hot glue to dry, but once it does, we are set to go. So now I can flip it over, and if I want, I can add this nice big, I think I will actually, I'm going to add this nice big piece from the nestabilities right to the front. Keep in mind when you're gluing that you're really only catching the top edges. So I'm going to place this right on top and give it a good press down. Before I move forward anymore on the front of my piece, I'm going to apply my ribbon pieces. I'm going to glue the ribbon pieces together. Again, just a spot of hot glue to hold everything in place. Now what I'm going to do is apply a good helping of hot glue. And then press this exactly where I want it to go. I think that's pretty good. I'm now going to add my chipboard piece to the front. Grab another glue stick. And on my back, this looks a little bit sloppy, so what I'm going to do is add that final piece that I cut from my Spellbinders Nestabilities piece. I'm just going to put that right on the back, and this just makes a nice finished backing to my piece. The final thing I'm going to do is add some really pretty petaloo flowers. Just going to squish them up a little bit. And at this point you can add whatever flowers, whatever little sentiments, stickers, notes, charms, whatever you want to add to your piece. Actually, And there you go. If you want to give this as a gift, you could add a pin backing on there so people could put it to their lapel and say, look how awesome I am, somebody gave me this. Or you could add a magnet to the back so people can put it on their fridge. Or you can just pop it on top of a fantastic present as a bow alternative. I hope that you give this a try. It's a really fun, really elegant, really pretty little project to do. And that's about it. Enjoy!